Hi and welcome to our review of basic math operations. So today we're going to be talking about the powers of 2 and how we calculate binary to decimal conversions. So the first step is actually understanding what is a power of a number. So the power of a number just states how many times we need to multiply the number by itself. So let's start populating this table here following these definitions. So 2 to the power of 1 is just basically multiplying 2 by itself. So you just have 2, all right? Now if we move forward to 2 to the power of 2, that just basically means we need to multiply 2 by 2. So we just need 2 times. Now if we move to 2 to the power of 3, it's just basically 2 3 times. So we just will have a 2 times 2 times 2 again. And as you can count the number of 2's that we have here in this multiplication, we have the number 3, which is exactly the exponent here. Now 2 to the power of 4 is just basically multiplying 2 4 times, following the same definition. 2 to the power of 5 is exactly the same thing. Now we have a 2 5 times, so it's a multiplication of 5 number 2's. 2 to the power of 6, the same thing. We need to multiply 2 6 times. 2 to the 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 to the 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, by definition, the only number that you need to remember, guys, and we're going to take this as a definition. I'm going to link to this video some proof of this, but we just need to keep in mind that 2 or any number to the power of 0 is just basically 1. And once again, we're just going to take it for granted as a definition, because explaining why this is not the purpose of this video. All right, after we now know exactly what the powers of the numbers means, we can just basically find a value for each one of these. Now 2 to the power of 0 is just 1, so the value will be 1. 2 to the power of 1 is 2, just basically 2. Now 2 to the power of 2, which is just basically 2 times 2, is a 4. 2 times 2 times 2 one more time, it's just basically a number 8. Alright? Now because this is just exponents, they are growing by 1 each time, I can just basically take the previous one and just multiply by 2 one time. So basically, you can do the 2 times 2 times 2 to find 2 to the power of 4, or you can just take the previous one, which is 2 to the 3, and multiply by 2 one time. So this will give us 16. Now 2 to the power of 5 is just multiplying 2 5 times. Or I can just basically take the 2 to the power of 4 and multiply by 2 one time. So this is just basically a number 32. Now this is a very special one. 2 to the power of 6 is multiplying the number 2 6 times. Okay. One more time, I can just take the previous one and multiply by 2, or I can just do the multiplication one by one. So 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 32, times 2 again 64. So this is a 64. How about 2 to the 7? 2 to the 7 is multiplying 2 7 times. So this is just basically going to give us 64 times 2 straightforward. Or you can just do the multiplication one by one again. Now this is 128. How about the next one? 2 to the power of 8 multiplying 2 8 times, or taking the previous one, which is 2 to the 7, and multiplying by 2, which is going to give us 256. Now, related to the powers of numbers, there are two important definitions that we need to take, and we can use this definition in our favor when we're calculating powers of 2. So for example, 2 to the power of a number multiplied by 2 to the power of another number is just basically 2 to the power of the sum of the exponents. And 2 to the power of a number divided by 2 to the power of a number is equal to 2 to the power of the first number minus the second exponent. So these are the definitions. So we can just basically use the first definition in order to calculate each one of the following numbers, because 2 to the power of 2 is just basically 2 to the power of 1 times 2 to the power of 1, and that's going to give us 4, and so on and so forth. All right, so these are the basic powers of numbers, uh, especially the number 2 here. But basically calculating and determining the power of other numbers is just basically the same process. Now for this course and for pretty much all the IT courses, we are more interested in the powers of 2, and that is because, like we already know, computers, they understand the binary language, so they usually understand 2 values. And that's why we are more interested in understanding what the powers of the number 2 are in order to calculate IP addresses, subnet masks, and so on and so forth. Thank you very much, and please follow the second video that is just basically a conversion from binary to decimal and decimal to binary. Thank you, and see you next time.